What's up guys, Gray here, welcome back. In today's video we're going to be talking all about the Arcstrider subclass in PvP. Now in the 30th anniversary update, Bungie made some of the biggest changes that I've ever seen to the game. Across the board they increased the cooldown of almost every grenade, melee, and super in the game. Now this is to encourage more gunplay as a whole in all of PvP and reduce some of the ability spam that was getting out of control inside of the Crucible. Now as a result, this is going to put much more emphasis on your neutral game as a player. And so today I wanted to talk about one of the best neutral game subclasses in the game and how I think it's really going to shine in the sandbox moving forward. I'm of course talking about Bottom Tree Arcstrider. We're going to take a look at the subclass, talk about what makes it so good inside of the Crucible, talk about what exotics you should be running and what stats you should be going after. So if you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor, leave a like down below and smash that subscribe button for me. But let's get right into it and take a look at Bottom Tree Arcstrider. Now to really understand why Bottom Tree Arcstrider is so good, we need to understand some of the changes that were made across the board to hunters. One of the biggest blows to hunters was the changes to the dodge cooldown. Once again, it has been nerfed to have a longer cooldown, which is a bit of a direct hit to every subclass for PvP for hunters. But Bottom Tree Arcstrider can almost completely negate that nerf with the right exotics and if you play it properly. Looking at Bottom Tree, one of the first perks we have right here is focused breathing. This makes it so sprinting recharges your dodge ability and it increases your maximum sprint speed. So not only can you run faster than literally any subclass in the game, but the entire time you're doing it, you're lowering the cooldown on your dodge. Combine this while running 100 mobility and you can almost have constant uptime on your dodge. We're going to get into the exotic that we pair with this. I'm sure you're already guessing it. It is going to be Dragon Shadow. We're going to dive into that a little bit more further in the video. But focus breathing alone, even if you're not using Dragon Shadow, is a huge boon to hunters right now due to that dodge nerf. Looking at the melee ability here, we have Disorienting Blow. And while this isn't the most groundbreaking melee in the game, it's still very, very powerful. It has an insane lunge range. It literally feels like Synthocep's Titan. You can lunge from so far with this melee, and if it's charged, it does deliver that disorienting effect to your opponent. It can sort of puts an effect on their screen, disorients them. It can be really strong, and it's really great for cleaning up if you play an aggressive playstyle with a shotgun. This is a really nice melee to pair with it. Next, we have Combat Meditation, and this perk is seriously so underrated, and in today's landscape, even more powerful than ever. While critically wounded, melee and grenades recharge drastically faster. Now I want you to pay attention to the clip that's going on in the background. You'll see I throw my grenade at an enemy, he gets me low, and while I run away, you can see my grenade is recharging so fast. Whenever your shield is broken and you're in that red portion of your health, that's when this perk comes into play. You can see I actually get hit and it keeps me in that red again, and I almost get my entire grenade back less than 20 seconds, 15 seconds after throwing it. This perk can give you your abilities back so quickly, and especially in PvP, coming out of gunfights, you're low on health, it's going to be giving you your abilities back almost constantly. And finally, we have Lightning Reflexes, where you are harder to kill while dodging, and that is just incredible. It's like a built-in Worm Husk, and if you combine it with Worm Husk, you're basically indestructible while you're dodging. It's actually insane. This is fantastic for getting out of engagements. If you make a poor positioning decision and you need to get out, this will help you survive when you're trying to get out of those poor engagements. Now let's talk about the dodge a little bit, because things have shifted here. Gambler's Dodge did see a direct nerf in the fact that it will no longer break aim assist, and that's a lot of reason why people used it, because it makes you harder to hit. I still think the animation alone is very powerful for dodging and getting away from a fight, but if you prefer Marksman Dodge, it's a very viable option now. If you're using a weapon that has Kill Clip or Desperado, something that you can proc by using this dodge, Marksman Dodge is going to be a fantastic option. Now finally, looking at the grenades, this is where things have gotten pretty interesting. As you're probably aware, the Flux Grenade got a massive buff with this patch, and it can now one-shot Guardians. If you stick someone with that Flux Grenade, it will one-shot them, which is an incredibly strong ability, but it is a pretty big skill shot. If you miss that grenade, the Flux Grenade also has one of the longest cooldowns in the game now. So if you're comfortable using it and you're really good with it, it can be really rewarding, but if you miss, you're not going to do much damage with it. It's easy for them to get away from, and you're going to incur that really long cooldown. Personally, I prefer the Arc Bolt Grenade. It just fits my playstyle. I use my grenade to force movement. That's usually how I like to use it. If someone is hiding behind a pillar or trying to avoid me, I like to use my grenade to force them out of cover. And the Arc Bolt does a really great job of doing that. Still does pretty good damage, but it has a really short cooldown. Skip grenades can also be really good for harassing your enemies. I just don't personally use them that often. And then don't forget that the super was buffed recently as well. Arcstaff got a pretty nice buff. The duration is much longer now, and it's still a really strong super inside of the Crucible. You can combine this with lightning reflexes. You can be spamming your dodge while you're in your super. Makes you very hard to kill, and it's a very strong roaming super now. Now, before we get into the exotics, I want to point one thing out to you that will also help you out with that dodge cooldown. This season, we did get stasis element gear, and there are some really unique mods that can go on these stasis pieces. If you have a stasis class item, you can use the utility Kickstart mod. You can see I actually used 2 of them right here, and this makes it so every time you use your class ability, you gain some of your class ability energy back. This combined with bottom tree Arcstrider is going to give us the shortest possible cooldown on our dodge, and when you're using it with Dragon Shadow, it's just perfect. You can always have the buff going from Dragon Shadow, always have your dodge available. I use this all the time on my hunter no matter what subclass I'm playing. I've been doing it for a while, and now it's even more valuable. Now let's talk about the exotic of choice. I'm sure if you're a hunter main, you're familiar with this, but the Dragon Shadow is absolutely incredible to pair with bottom tree Arc because it's all about getting that dodge cooldown back as quick as possible, and using it with Dragon Shadow just makes our guns feel incredible. This makes it so our dodge reloads all of our weapons and increases our movement and weapon handling speeds for a brief time. You get quick swap constantly, so you can use any shotgun you want. Doesn't matter if it has quick draw or not. This exotic basically gives it quick draw. You have lightning fast swaps, which is incredible. And like I was saying, if you are using marksman dodge, this exotic completely negates that. It reloads your weapons for you, so you can use gambler's dodge and get the best of both worlds. Dragon Shadow is absolutely incredible to pair with this subclass. Now, a couple other things I want to talk about. Middle tree Arcstrider is also a very compelling option. Whirlwind Guard is incredible for really competitive situations. If you're playing things like Trials and you're going against a bunch of stasis hunters who are going to throw their squall at you, you can completely turn it around and steal it by using Whirlwind Guard. It's a very strong option. You can totally run this same build with Middle Tree if you want to. I'm personally not that comfortable with Middle Tree using the melee, the Tempest Strike, that sliding shock ability, incredibly strong in the right hands. I just personally don't have that much experience with it, but it's worth a mention here, and I think it's a really great option for 3v3. Now, beyond that, guys, just looking at stats, the first thing you're going to want to go for is, of course, 10 mobility. You need that 100 mobility stat to get the most out of this build, so you have the lowest dodge cooldown possible. It's just going to make things flow much, much smoother. That should be your first target. And then, of course, you're going to want to go after recovery and try to get as close to 100 as possible. Now, naturally, you would think you'd want to go after intellect now, but due to the way supers are, it's just really not worth it anymore, in my opinion. You're looking at 8, 9, 10-minute cooldowns for certain supers, and no matter how much intellect you stack, it's just not going to help you out as much as it used to. You could easily put those points into discipline or strength if you want your grenade or your melee back even more. Put those points somewhere else. Put them in resilience. It's going to help you survive against more things inside of PvP, and it's more valuable to me than intellect is in the current landscape. So all in all, guys, I just feel like Arcstrider is going to be something you're going to see a lot more inside of the Crucible. It's a very strong option in the current sandbox, and I've been having so much fun running it again. It feels so powerful. It just has such a well-rounded kit. It's very strong in all sorts of gameplay. You can use this in 6s. You can use this in 3s, wherever you want to take it. It will always be a strong option. So like I briefly mentioned, this will be a series of videos. There's going to be some shifts to the meta. Some subclasses are really going to shine when they didn't get a chance to before. So if you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my future ones. Got all sorts of ones planned for Warlocks, Titans, and Hunters. More builds coming down the line. So be sure to stick around so you don't miss out. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one.